Hi everyone, welcome, happy December, happy if you celebrate Christmas, happy almost Christmas. My name is Valerie Caña, I'm your host for the Las Vegas UX UI Meetup. We're always in this room, just as an FYI, if you're wanting to come into future events. So we also have a LinkedIn group, if you like to join, there's the QR code. You can also look up Las Vegas UX UI Meetup, and you can find us there. So for today, I'll do a quick intro, talk about some UX insights, wrapping up 2024, and then we'll do a roundtable Q&A and poll. So again, like I said, I'm Valerie. We have other amazing organizers as part of our UX UI group, including Abigail, who's over here. She's an incredible UX designer. John Balboa over here. Oh, I should actually clap for you both. A few people who can't be with us today is JB. I think his family just came into town. We have Jonathan Parra, who is our original organizer, and Brady Boylard, who is also around. So without this team, really can't make all of these things happen. So sometimes we switch off. Who's the speaker, who's giving insights, and then we just try to go to each other's events and support one another. So for today's topic, I'm pretty sure if you have Spotify, if you have things like Asana, all of your product apps are wrapping up things for the year, showing you your insights, and I wanted to do the same thing for today's topic. So some game-changing insights from 2024. Overall, we see a lot more efforts in elevating our accessibility and new technologies. There's more intersection of psychology, neuroscience, and design. And then, of course, always has been a hot topic for the past couple of years, artificial intelligence. But what is our perspective on its ethical implications? So let me first talk about some accessibility in emerging technologies. These next few slides, I'm just going to basically, I do a lot of research. I do a lot of reading, go through a lot of articles, and I put together some slides where I, have sensed or have seen a lot of trends come out. So first of all, it's making AI and AR and VR more inclusive. Part of that is creating voice-enabled interfaces and making sure they're adapting to different accents and speech impairments. We see that a lot. It wasn't that great before, but nowadays it's playing with ChatGPT, like Canvas. It's really hard to tell the difference because they're adding different accents. They're recording a lot of different speech patterns, accents, people coming from different regions, talking about or including different ways that people are speaking in a colloquial kind of language. A lot of short-term or slang, and incorporating that into conversational models. We're also seeing how AR experiences can cater to users with visual and motor impairments. I took a screenshot here of, I'm pretty sure a lot of us have seen smart glasses from the past couple of years. But when I went to CES this year, there are a lot more models. I think people have picked this effort back up and are trying to better assist people with these disabilities. In the screen capture right here, they're talking about how on the lady, she was saying she can actually see what people were saying. It was giving her a live caption in the bottom because it's being able to recognize what people are saying and read their lips. We're also seeing a really large rise in inclusive gaming UX and driving innovation in other fields. This is the screen capture down here is from The Last of Us Part 2. And so I don't know if any of you guys are video gamers, but when you start a new game, there's a heavy a heavy focus in setting up that customization for and setting up all of the accessibility options before you start the gameplay. So that could be like changing like all of the haptics in your controller, the way that like flashing and strobe effects are seen, as you play the game. Like you can decrease the motion because some people get motion sick while they're playing the game. And then of course, other visual accessibility aspects like changing like the text density, like how large it is, and things like that. So there's a huge focus in this customization, making sure that we can personalize everyone's digital experiences to better fit, their, whatever constraints they have. Here's some behavioral design insights. Like I said, we're really leveraging psychological principles for improved user engagement. Some findings are micro rewards. So even if, I just want to say, like, even if you're not a video game UX designer or play video games, there's a lot more gamification happening in order to reward users and increase user retention. So that all of these behavioral insights are applied to task management apps and learning apps. There's a screen, I just put the screen capture of a blog article of like how Duolingo uses gamification to improve user retention. I've been a pro user of Duolingo for the past year, and I've seen like a lot more. Oh, hey Josh, welcome. I don't know if you all don't know, this is Josh Levitt, the organizer of Tech Alley. Let's also give him a round of applause for all of the work that he does. Thanks. Yeah, come on in. What was I saying? Yes. There's been a lot new features in Duolingo, and they've also, by the way, have increased their product offering from languages to like learning music to learning math, and in the pro feature set, like I get a lot of rewards, like so many different stickers. I get like different app icon artwork depending on like how many levels I achieve. They've added things like friend quests, where you can the more you work with other people that you follow, your other friends, like the more points that you can get. And then recently, in the past couple of months, they also added. I forgot exactly what it's called, but like basically like friend battles. So I was actually like lapsing in my usage of Duolingo, but then when they added the battles, it sparked my competitive spirit, and I really did start using it again. So we see a lot of that more in different apps. Other things are like loss aversion, especially in e-commerce. They highlight what users miss out on and see that increases user engagement as well. So for example, rather than saying things like, oh, you can get a $20 reward if you give this referral code to your friends, they'll say, you're going to miss out on like the $20, $20, or you're going to miss out on our biggest sale of the year. And so that really triggers people's FOMO, and then they'll get onto your platform. Emotional anchoring, so designing for positive emotional responses in financial planning tools. There's the screen capture down here. You could see there's a lot of confetti. This is really funny because I remember in, I think it was like 2019, 2020, when like confetti like motion effects were just starting to get really popular, and everyone's like, wow, that's a delightful user experience. And now I kind of see it everywhere, especially like in like my financial apps, maybe if you use something like Clio. But again, that's tied to gamification and just making people feel happy in these micro interactions. And again, that is also like a really important trend in user interface design, which is like adding motion graphics. All right, so some insights with cognitive load management. Really important to simplify complex systems through intuitive design. So those key findings are like by chunking information, it improves user task completion by 40%. And I do apologize, I know, I'm sorry, these are very small, but this screen capture is a screen capture of Asana, or the Slack workspace, and setting up your account. So, before we would have very large forms in order to set up your account. And now it's better to separate out those flows using wizards, like step 1, do this thing, and then you go to the next screen, step 2, step 3, etc. So chunking that out makes for a lot better usability, and that's something I've been doing because I work with a lot of forms and a lot of dashboards at my work. Separating that out really does reduce cognitive load and helps people become more focused. So another thing that really ties closely to chunking information is progressive disclosures. And that helps reduce abandonment and, again, inform heavy applications. So the bottom screen capture down here, does my cursor work? So it shows you on the left side that there is basically an extra input field down below. But if that person doesn't need it, don't show it. So on the right, it'll only show if they check remember my information. So if something is optional, don't put it in the UI. If they check something, if they answer a question a certain way, for an example, if they're filling out and putting in their address, there are different fields that are necessary depending on what country you're from. So you can only show the fields that's relevant to them. Otherwise, it'll make them confused because then they can leave an input field empty, but then that might confuse them, and then they may not complete the task. The last cue here, or the last finding here, is combining visual cues and minimalism, and that enhances people's understanding of data-heavy dashboards. So that's the screen capture over here. It's just what I thought was a very nice, minimally made dashboard. That's something I was also playing around with in my work, where sometimes if you're working with data tables, there's hundreds of things to see. For example, I work with patient records. So previously, it showed 100 at a time, and then had a ton of pagination for a lot of different pages. But that is, unless that person really wants to select the view, or they can select show me, show 10 or show 20 or show 100, don't put that as a default. Showing them less makes it look like it's a more intuitive workplace. And this really helps, especially when you're onboarding people, people who haven't used these tools before. If it looks like a lot, they're going to think that doing the job is a lot more difficult. But by making it more minimal at first, it'll help them get over the help them get over the I'm so sorry about that. The cognitive load, yes, or basically the barrier to entry. There we go. Sorry about that. Hi, come on in. Sorry about that. Also, I am a little bit under the weather, so sorry if I'm having some brain lapses. But yes, it'll help. Always try to help people get over that barrier of entry quicker, and then when they become a more pro user, that customization is built in so they can see more data at one time. Yes?
As a user, I can see that the chunking would help get over that cognitive load barrier, but at some point before you submit, as a user, I'd like to see all my information so I can just check that everything's right. You know what I mean? The last step maybe the form completed.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you'd have to go back to screens, right?
Yeah.
Check your work, and that would be be extra work, wouldn't it?
That would be, yeah. For the way that like my team solved for that was kind of having a last, like once you go through the wizard, we had like a kind of a checkout summary page that showed the entire form filled. And then if there was any issues, then there's the red text or like the error field, and then they can go back in and edit that. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, but that's really great point there. Okay. Notes for ethical AI and design. So it's very exciting to use AI, like whether it's in our workflow or to incorporate AI into our products. And we see that a lot more now, like there's more chat bots, a lot of like mobile applications that, you know, maybe like the title is literally like calorie AI. People are being like much more transparent in the tools and APIs that they're using. And this is good because the more transparent we are about it, users will trust the system, especially when that algorithm explains their logic. So like over here, this is a screen capture of ChatGPT, and it's just asking like, oh, how are you trained? And then it tells them that it uses a process called unsupervised learning, blah, 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 da, da, da. But, oh, welcome in. Yes, please find a seat. But it's really nice because, like, for example, I was working on an app earlier this year where we were inputting like pictures of people because the point of the app was to figure out recommendations on like our appearances. But then ChatGPT told us that like we are trying to be ethical. We're not going to recommend anything that's like harmful or like typically like toxic or will lead to like bad health, like bad things that will impact that user's health. And so they said, and therefore all of the recommendations will be like more lighthearted. It'll be like more on a positive side. And then also, you know, like we didn't even have to really train that model, but it just said like, at first, like we're going to tell them like a lot of positive attributes that we find in the photo first. So it's like, oh, for example, like you, like it was for me. Oh, great, yeah, like it looks like you have, you know, pretty like nice hair or whatever, or, like, and you have brown eyes. Like these are great traits. But if you wanted to improve your appearance, like maybe trying some like maybe trying some like skincare routine, like trying to use some hyaluronic acid like as part of your skincare. So that you see how that's like very kind language rather than it being very like clinical or you know using words to like discourage a user. So that was really interesting. And then if you ask ChatGPT like all of the logic behind the reasons, like it'll come up with something very like interesting like that. Secondly, there's so algorithmic bias in UX research tools and its implications. So what that means is there's more awareness in the research that people are doing. So there's going to be inherent bias in research. Like if you take for example, if you sample data for one particular region, like that's going to have an inherent bias towards that region, and it's going to potentially neglect like the perspective and needs of other markets. So more and more people are realizing that now, and I think that it's just good to be mindful of. So if you're doing research, you know, there's just put more effort into really diversifying the kind of participants that you're getting. Lastly, user control over AI-generated outcomes. So customization of generative designs. I think we were seeing that like in Framer or like Reloom. So that was really great. So for example, in those programs, it gives you some wireframes for websites. But you know, previously, like in other tools, it would just like that's kind of it. But in the tools I just mentioned, we can edit it as much as possible. I also see that in a lot of like Adobe creative tools nowadays as well, where like in Photoshop, for example, Adobe, like Firefly, I think that's the name. Like if you ask it to generate an image, it'll show you 3 different options, and then you can decide. And additionally, it's not bitmap, like it's not a hard bitmap. When I accept that generative outcome, it keeps the layers in Photoshop, like in the layers panel, so I can edit it later. So yeah, if you're working on any like generative AI products, just something to think about to further give people those choices. So future directions in design research, like I was saying, just more neuroscience and UX crossover. We'll probably see that deeper integration of brain-based insights for immersive experiences. I know, so this is something I've been really working on in the past year, because I know unless you have access to these resources like ResearchGate or just other scholarly databases, it'll be a little difficult. Something I've been trying to do is I got a free library card at UNLV, and as long as you use one of the computers on campus, you can go to basically any scholarly database for free. I know it's you have to drive there and everything, but kind of really worth that extra effort. I think we're also going to see a lot more focus on sustainable design. So we have this theory, this concept of human-centered design. But now I think we're shifting to life-centered design all around. So human-centered is focusing on us as people and our humanity. Life-centered design is figuring out and exploring the way that we as people also integrate with our environment and other global systems. So things like reducing our carbon footprint, reducing energy, reducing food waste. For example, if you've never heard of Too Good To Go, that is a really good example of a company, and there's many other companies like that who are trying to reduce waste overall. Other things last thing is a cultural UX insight. So I know a lot of us have probably heard of design systems. It's really older rage nowadays. But really think about expanding design systems to respect global diversity. This is just a screen capture of BBC's design system. They had a really great talk at Config, because they're a news network that is based in the UK, but they also do news in the US and many other countries. But they were talking about how they're okay, how are we going to make a design system that is going to span across the pond? So it was a really very interesting talk, because they realized they can't name things a certain way that only UK people understood. They can't use certain colors or certain images without really exploring that impact on the US people, and vice versa. That concludes my talking part of the presentation. So now I really want to throw it back to you as the audience. So if you can get your phones out and go to this URL, or you can go to slido.com, and you can input this code 1960628. Let me give you a moment to get to that, and then I'll switch screens in just a moment. Okay, and then Come on, internet. I believe in you. Okay, here we go.
We're asking questions.
Yeah, so you're going to see on your device, there's like a Q&A section, and then there's also a poll section. So first, if you can go to the poll section, we have a few questions there. Oh, and I need to actually go to the poll section. 1 second. Sorry, can't really see very well.
Yeah, it's without increase engagement, increase engagement for everybody's questions.
Okay, here we go. Sorry.
Is it published?
Is it not published for you?
The questions posed are design highlighted 2024.
Yes, that's right.
That's the poll.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, so it's cool. So think about like to reflect on your year, because I'm really interested in hearing everyone's design highlights of 2024. And then if you input it, then we can go ahead and see it on the screen. Okay, so I know it says anonymous, but it's not going to be anonymous. I would love for, like, this was like, I think a good way to get to know everybody in this room. So I would love, I'm going to like, I'll just ask like, who was this? And then you can introduce yourself, who you are, why you're here, and like just talk about your answer. Is that fun? Okay. Who was started design? Oh, this was me. Sorry. Okay, so I'll go first. Sorry, like there is a glare, and so it gives me a little while to read. Well, anyway, yeah, so this was a really fun year for me because my company, well, they hired, like we have like a new VP of UX design. He's really amazing. He's been like an amazing mentor for me. And then, yeah, he started these design and developer like pairing sessions, like as we like create and like elevate our design system. And yeah, it's been really cool. It's been like very like difficult because like that developer, he's like from Honduras. So it's like it took a little bit of time to figure out doing that remotely, but I've learned so much. And I think I talked about this last time, but I'm like, oh, I really need to do like some sort of like code certificate now so I can be more helpful and speak his language a bit better. But yeah, then, so that was also part of the design system is also part of like of another project we've been working on to like wrap up all of our portals like in one kind of shell. And that was a really cool like project kickoff where I got some like visibility with the executive team. I also went to config for the first time, and I'll also be going again next year. Yeah, really incredible, a lot of people, like Abby knows. And then also got started on some personal projects that I'm really going to push forward with and try to start my own startup next year. So I got some like really good hours into that this past year. Yeah.
So this is mine. I didn't have as much like views, but I think within the last 4 months, I've been doing a lot of like research as far as just like the ethical components of like UX and stuff. And I think UX is a really interesting gray area because oh, nice. So basically, like. Since I'm involved in the video game space and stuff, when we talk about like the fear of missing out, which was in your presentation, there's a lot of design that is really, really trying to tug on those specific emotions and stuff. And within video game spaces, gambling mechanics and also like loot boxes or like things where it's like, oh, this thing is temporary, and if you don't get it now, then you're never gonna be able to get it and stuff, is going to become more and more prevalent as time goes on, to the point where I think when it comes to being ethical, now that's a marketing thing now. It's not just, oh, we're ethical so you could choose us. It's we're ethical so like you should do business with us because like, you know, we're gonna make sure we go in a very, very ethical direction. So I think like the reason I just picked this as a highlight and stuff is just because I think it is going to be an ongoing conversation. And it is only going to like get more and more prevalent as time goes on, just because people are going to be more comfortable with UX, AI is going to be there, and just this like constant tug of war between like profit margins and also like human connection or like human ethical values and stuff are just going to keep pushing and pulling each other.
Awesome. That's really cool. I'm definitely a sucker for like all those different like loot boxes or like with all the Pokemon games, like, oh, you can only get this package
for a
this
week
one time
or something like
this
that.
week.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Well, thank you for sharing that.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. Who is this one?
No, that's me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and please, and this is Daniel.
Oh yeah, my name is Surreal.
Oh, Dennis. Sorry.
Yeah, I do photography, videography. Since AI came out a while ago, I do the fastest turnaround when it comes to doing events and photo shoots with my clients. And then this year, I've noticed that the fastest turnaround has been like the best. It's been a high demand sometimes. That clients are like, I want to book you, then because of the fast turnaround when it comes to a corporate event or a photo shoot with my clients that I work with. I give them the photos right away, and then they're surprised. They're like, man, I thought you were going to take like 3 days. I was like, no, I just give them to you right now. And that's, for me, been like the highlight of 2024, because it's been the best turnaround ever. And then plus, I see them post their photos right away on social media. That, when you're doing a photo shoot, we're doing a photo shoot or you're speaking at an event, that's been like, don't you want to post your photo right away? So that, for me, has been like the best for 2024.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's really interesting. Yeah, because before you would have to do years ago Photoshop scripts or Lightroom scripts, and that took forever. But that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great, and I'm glad to know a new photographer.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. All right. Sustainable growth design due to the emergence of AI.
That's me, sorry.
Okay, good.
I think the reason why I apologize for it too, which is weird, because my whole brands are kind of surrounded with AI, but at the same time, whose is it now, right? Like, I feel like everybody uses it daily, but ever since I took like a sustainable growth design course, and I think one of the lead speakers was the lead growth designer for Netflix, and he spoke for like about an hour and a half. He had a lot to tell, and like how they're trying to compete with live TV and do Netflix like chill zones or whatever they call that. I don't know, like basically Netflix lounges to have more of live experiences, because they're a fully remote company. But getting back to sustainable growth, after learning like some of the facts of like, oh well, how much data centers need to be cooled down because we use AI that needs to train these models to do all of this stuff. It's a lot of resources, like how many gallons of water. There's these graphs. I wish I had them on me. Like I'd have to like look up the link. I'm sure if we use Perplexity or some sort of Google thing, we could definitely tell like there is a lot of resources that is needed to power AI. Yet at the same time, the companies that promote sustainability, like Microsoft, for example, aren't going to hit their sustainability goal because of the big insurgence of money that they have for partnering with OpenAI. So they're in conflict with their own goals. They want to be sustainable, but yet, man, the money's there. I was like, can you blame them as a business? No. So it's kind of hard. It's like, oh, you have this really powerful tool that can change people's lives or ruin people's jobs. Both it's a double-edged sword, but at the same time, it also saps a lot of resources to do that. And AI is popping up all over the place. So where do we draw the line and say, like, how many times do we prompt something in order for us to get it what we want, but at the same time, like, well, you're also kind of killing the planet too. So that's me.
No, thank you, John.
Thank you.
This one. Oh wait, this one. Professional editing software to create attention-grabbing advertisements for musical albums.
That sounds dope.
That's cool.
That's sick. I need a DJ. Let's go. Who is it? I'll run it to you.
Did the Slido get hacked?
He probably did from there.
I'm pretty sure no one left, Okay, that's all right. Let's just go to the next one. Rebranding your portfolio, improve your storytelling and case studies. Oh, awesome. Okay. Oh, I can also help with that. Thank you.
Thank you. Hey everyone, my name is Kevin, and my highlight for this year will be pretty much like improving my portfolio. And I'm saying this because in the past I have like almost 8 years experience as a designer. And in the past, the only thing that I used to do was taking picture of my final product and give it like a short description. Honestly, it always did the work, always got the job done. But now we are in a very competitive job market. So just having like a screenshot of your product, it's not enough anymore. So you kind of want to bring value out of your product, what it did for a company, and all things like that. So I really had the chance to actually work on one, actually make a great portfolio.
Oh, awesome. Congrats. Yeah. I know it's really hard to work on your portfolio as just in general on top of like work and life and everything. So
yeah, I have like made this year so far maybe like 8 on my portfolios.
Yeah. Okay. So amazing.
Thank you.
Awesome. Okay. Let's see. Amazing year, growth, help a lot of people in the community. Amazing year, community. Oh, okay.
I'm the next one. AI enabling much faster generation of websites for our clients, hoping this means we can do hundreds or more websites per month for clients next year. So Alex Hormozi talks a lot about like the measuring stick and changing, your perspective of the measuring stick. And so, my measuring stick on websites this year, my team has done about 30 websites, which is cool. Definitely more than I've done 10 years ago, for example. But, some of that speed is now coming with like AI generation. And so I've been building like a specific type of workflow that, takes the onboarding from a client and then uses AI to generate all the content recommendations for the photos and the branding and all that kind of stuff. And so my goal is, could we do hundreds of websites per month moving forward using that type of system? And so AI has enabled that, and then it's a lot easier for our clients, and then it allows us to, empower both small and large businesses, with decently robust sites that hopefully make them some money.
Yeah. Oh, rad. That is a lot of work. Yeah.
Hey, AI is making it ridiculously easy. The whole thing about like AI contained systems is insane, because I met some entrepreneurs here in Tech Alley that, they have like a business that is completely run by AI, and that the fulfillment's done by AI, customer support's done by AI, the marketing and sales is done by AI. And so it's insane that we're moving in that direction, but that's kind of where I also want to move my company. And then of course we employ people, but that will just bring us more margins to employ more people, hopefully. So.
Yeah, no, for sure. Amazing. All right. Design is all about communication. Thank you, Ray.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Peggy, and this year I started my first design role.
Yay.
And that's where I began to work with a lot of different team members, and this is I think my biggest takeaway. My main role is to help create an AI tool for nursing instructors to help them better create exams. And this is really when I first joined, we were in a very discovery phase, from going to research to validate the idea to then creating a concept, a prototype. And as I create and brainstorm with the teams, a lot of it is really among UXers with researcher and designer. But as I continue, I learned that to stay flexible, especially we get a lot of updates from the tech team. I think the most important thing about this tool is the output and how accurate it is and how much value it can bring to the instructors. So that's why a lot of design considerations is around the type of outputs it can generate, the loading time. And so I think that's why my biggest takeaway is design is all about communication, to talk to different team members, and also to be flexible in the process.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, it really is a lot of meetings in UX, FYI. I said that last meetup. I'm like, a lot of the work is just talking and like get yourself in a room, and then like UX is just like the art of communication and synthesizing like what you learned from it. So that's awesome.
I think meeting does save a lot of time instead of just like back and forth comments, Slacks. It does help the team be a lot more efficient.
Oh yeah, for sure. Which is why I use something like Otter for your meetings, and then I'll just transcribe it for you. Okay, let's see. Completed a project-based course in user experience at Udacity.
Hi, my name is Joe. I'm a beginner, so I completed this course at Udacity. It was a project-based course. I developed a feature for a ticket-selling app, and so did research, used Miro.com, and in the design I used Figma, so I had to learn those aspects of the research and the design. And the feature was a 360-degree photo of arena or stadium for people that want to take a look at what the view will be from their seat before they buy the ticket. So to help in the decision-making process of throwing down the ever-increasing amount of money that you do for a ticket beforehand, like Street View on Google. That's the concept. I built it out to the point where I had the sign-in screens, you know, the fields, and that. And once you get to the actual function, I'm still working on that aspect. So, as I say, I'm a beginner, but I have more work to do to develop that. And if anybody has any ideas how to incorporate with Figma the design of a 360 photo, that would be helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, that'd be cool. We something I really want to do more of next year, and it's a little difficult here because the lack of Wi-Fi, but I would love for us all to get together and do like remote working sessions so we can peer review each other's work and just get like answer our questions on the fly. So yeah, thinking about that, maybe not at Tech Alley, but like we'll try to like pick up the remote sessions like at cafes or something like that. Yeah. And congrats on your course.
Thank you.
Okay.
If I could, on that session piece, if you guys want, we have a co-working space. It's like 10 minutes away from here over on the historic west side. It's a computer lab and we've got a STEM lab. It's at a nonprofit. I'd love to just build that for you guys because it'd be always great to host Entrepreneurs Day.
Oh my God, yeah, no, definitely. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Let's go. Let's walk 10 minutes over. All right. Oh, I can't scroll anymore. So we're at the last three. Past year, I've been able to create my own videos through Adobe Creative Cloud, learning of different editing techniques like color grading, composition, audio compression.
Yeah. So hi, I'm Nathan. I'm a high school senior right now, and I'm applying to college. So I have to compile everything and make sure like I show off college like who I really am. So I want to major in biomedical engineering, but I also have a passion in filmmaking and photography. So currently through the past 6-7 years, I've been taking photos for like friends and family, and now I've been able to make it into a business where I'm actually able to like gain revenue from it, which is pretty cool. But I think one of the main things that like in the past year that has really been like a design highlight is I've switched from photography to videography, and I've been able to use Adobe Creative Cloud, which has a lot of AI features, whether it comes from color grading, where you can like change the whole scenery out of nowhere, or you could even add on to longer clips and stuff like that. So yeah, if you guys want to learn more about me, I have a business card that I can have you guys scan. And yeah, it's your time.
Oh, it's amazing. Thank you. Yeah, deserves claps. Cool. Okay. Using progressive disclosure to help nurses simplify their workflows and choose their medications without having to think too hard about it. Okay, I felt it.
I feel like I need to stand. That was really good.
Yeah.
My name is Abigail, and I wrote this one. For those of you that don't know me, I am a UX designer in the healthcare space, and so I work for a company called Omnicell, and they have a 30-year-old technology that's hardware and software, and so this technology helps nurses to grab their controlled substances for their patients. And this year, we launched and demoed at ASHP, which is our mid-year meeting for pharmacy to basically our buyers. So what we did this year was launch a demo of our new workflows. So definitely taking the antiquated 30-year-old software and made it more simplified. So it's really exciting to have said that I was on that founding design team for this new product. And I'm looking forward to seeing how it develops to help nurses go from having to fill out a really long form to not have to think about the things that they need to do on the screen, and helping users to go through that flow. I think one thing I learned at Config was there is an opportunity for the golden age of design of where is design not touched yet? And I think our team is starting to think about, okay, how can we set the industry standard for design in healthcare? And that's, I think, our proof of concept during that demo. It was the highlight of my year. And for 2025, I will be also starting up something, so can't wait to share that with you.
Also, I just want to piggyback that. If you're interested in health tech or you're interested in UX, I just also want to say how important it is to support this area because, especially in Nevada, we have very bad healthcare compared to a lot of different states. So thank you for doing that amazing work. Oh, and you too. Yeah. Okay, and then last one, learning about email, SMS as UX starting, and even ending point for startups and users.
That was my prompt again, and it was just to talk about this concept of how more can be done over email, SMS, and voice, especially with AI, than traditional web user forms. So I think that's going to be interesting as we see that. There's another startup in San Francisco called GoBento.com, and they partnered with the government to deliver produce to families that have benefits like SNAP benefits and stuff like that. And it seems like they're getting a lot of traction, and me as a web designer, sometimes I think, I always think, I should get a website. But now it's like, wait a second, could we deliver the benefit to our users just over email or SMS or on the phone? And so that's been another way.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. All right.
There's
more.
Like 5 folks just added.
Here. Okay, awesome. Thank you for adding. First AI chatbot using your own voice.
That's me.
That's you? Oh.
Yeah, I'll say it real quick. But, really fun, kind of creepy. I actually had my girlfriend use it just to test it out, and then a couple of my coworkers, and they were like, "Whoa, dude, this sounds just like you." And then they glitched out and actually had me talk in a British accent, which was hilarious.
Was this 11 Labs? Or were you...
Yeah, no, it was definitely 11 Labs. There was other ones that were really good, but I think the trippy part is, it's almost scary. But at the same time, it's kind of cool. If I was sick or whatever, I'm like, here, and you could choose which model you base it off of. So I use Claude for mine because I just felt like that was more human of a model to pick. But you could literally train on your voice, and you have to say the password, do the whole thing. And I did the same thing for an avatar. So it's just, you could tell if it's an avatar video if they do this thing, because it can't capture your mouth. So you'll tell right away if you're using an avatar or deep fake or whatever. So that's about it. Yeah, it's fun. Try it.
That's cool. I would love to see it later. Okay. How UI UX evolved in new educational programs used in schools. The gamification aspect makes it more engaging for students. That's cool. Yeah.
Hi, so I'm actually I'm just a beginner UI UX designer, just finished my first certification last February, but I'm actually a full-time instructional facilitator at middle school here. So I started out as a teacher, and then my first project for the UI UX, I created a behavior tracking app because that's something that teachers need, that they do on paper and pen, So, and then on top of that, because I'm now managing teachers, I've given them websites they can use to add gamification into their lectures. So some of them that we like would be Quiz-Is. Another one is GimKit, and the kids love it. They work for it and they're learning. So that's just one thing that was a highlight of my year as an educator is like incorporating these websites in the classroom. So that's mine. Thank you.
Oh, that's awesome.
Who's next?
Yeah. No, digital first generation. Like, I'm really excited to see what the youth, many years down the road, like what they're going to make. Because I think like around like my year, it's like the last generation who remembers what it's like before the internet. So, yeah, exactly. Let's see. Design a privacy-focused polling app with engaging polls created by AI. Should I be using your polling app instead now? Yeah.
Hey everyone, it's kind of meta to post about polling app in a poll. So, I'm an engineer, so I'm a pretty logical thinker. So a couple of years back, I started my designing journey by creating like posters and stuff on Canva. And that kind of reshaped like how I look at the projects. And using those principles and the learnings, I created a polling app which is designed to kind of still maintain the anonymity of the users, at the same time transparently display all the results of the polls. And I used AI to kind of like come up with like different engaging polls. So just kind of, if you wanted to try it out, let me know. I don't have it on the App Store yet, but I do have like beta versions. So if you have test flight, I can share link with you so you can give it a try and let me know. Thanks.
So cool. Yeah. I'd love to maybe use that next time. Thank you.
Can we ask you a question about your polling app?
Yeah.
So if it's anonymous, how do you prevent folks from having multiple entries?
Yeah, so every time I use a poll, they gonna have like a unique hash ID, right? And that will be displayed to everyone. So if you poll in a particular poll, you would know what you polled because you can see the result as well. And if you want to modify the poll, you can change the opinion. You can change the poll print. That's the name of the app. And the goal for that is because the polling, I don't want to get political, but the political polls are all kind of mess. And I feel like most of those polls are outdated and that kind of shape like all the, chaos we are experiencing. So I feel like just having a transparent polling system could eliminate all of that, because then people can see in real time where most of the people stand. And then we also have like a comment feature so people can like engage and like maybe like, share like, hey, this is why I'm right, or whatever it means. But that's just one element. It's not focused only for politics. It's focused for like all kind of thing, like economy, future, tech, science, you name it, personal development. Like I'm just going to leave it this. Like one of the poll is how would you want to spend, how would you like your $100 tax money to be spent? And there are like a bunch of choices. So you can divide like 5% for say defense, 20% for healthcare. You can like create all of that scenarios, and then you can see where the country stands for, assuming like we have most of the polling adults on that. Great. Yeah, thanks.
Awesome. Super cool. Thank you. All right, I think that was the last of it. Sorry, I know it's like such. Okay. Ooh. Slido, yeah. Free to use.
For now. It's only for AI, and they charge $50 for it.
Okay, so FYI, we only have 9 minutes. Like, I love like all of the discussion going around. So we answered what was your design highlight of 2024. I did have a poll for what were your best design tools. But actually, I think I would like to prioritize, and this is just helpful for me, if you can answer, let me start this interaction. Under polls, it should have updated to what topics are you looking for in 2025. So if you don't mind giving me some answers, so I can plan out the next year. Let me put on this lo-fi again.
Do we want one answer or like?
It doesn't matter. Just put in as many things as you'd like in your.
We're not voting on the topics, are we?
Well, if we did have time, we could, but I'm going to probably close it in order to go to the Q&A. Just, yeah. So we'll just do this for a couple of minutes, and then, we have like 5 minutes for maybe some Q&A at the end. Science behind easy-to-use UI, implementing engaging metrics to test effectiveness of design choices, AR and VR, design documentation, ethical design, generative AI, using AI for research, psychology involved in UI UX, portfolio building, project recommendations. Cool. AI image generation, software for UI design. Using UI UX to make civic, government, political participation more easy. Ooh. Oh yeah, you're the only anonymous one. I love it. Obviously, I'll prioritize those.
While others are typing in their responses, I just wanted to share a shameless plug for maybe those of you who are new to UI UX or are interested in learning more. A really good documentary that's on Netflix right now is called Buy Now, and it talks about kind of like the repercussions of progressive disclosure. And as UX designers, it's our responsibility to think about how we're driving user behavior. So definitely check out Buy Now on Netflix. There's a product designer who used to be at Amazon, the one who designed the Buy It Now button, and she talks about how she regretted that because she didn't think through what were the repercussions of like creating a consumerism culture. And so she's trying to create different ways for users to be more cognizant of their buying habits. So definitely, especially in the Christmas season, or like I know Black Friday passed, but check that out as a food for thought to think about your own design practice. That's
Ooh,
it.
No, thank you very much. Buy Now, what, you said on Netflix?
Yeah,
Or, okay.
Buy It Now.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we could probably do like watch parties in the next year. That'd be fun. All right. Did everyone get theirs in? Well, if you have other suggestions, just connect with me on LinkedIn. or please join the Las Vegas UX UI LinkedIn group, and then feel free to put it in the comments or DM me from there. Okay, so we only have a couple of minutes left. I guess I'll just save the official Q&A for a future meeting. But does anyone have any other questions that they like to throw out to the group? Or comments? Yes.
This is not so much a question as it is a request for all the UX UI designers in the room. We've been using submit, which has a number of connotations, none of which are positive except go to the next screen. Can we please stop using the word submit and find an alternative piece of language so that people don't feel as if they're giving up all the things they give up with a buy it now, and go to some language that makes some sense for the customer, not for the designer? There's a change for 2025.
Yeah,
End
that's
use
true.
of the word submit. There's several of those, but
Yeah.
Do you have any suggestions?
Yeah, what are your suggestions?
What's your suggestion? Do you have any suggestion to?
and it varies by the context of the design.
Yeah.
But submit says nothing positive to a user in any way ever.
That's the philosophy of perception you're talking about.
Yeah. Interesting though. I mean, there is submit, learn more, right? Or just visit proceed. Proceed. Next.
Go forward.
Okay.
You don't feel like an idiot.
Yeah.
And that is, you talked about being around before the internet. That was designed before there was internet.
Interesting. Okay.
I wonder what if there was any studies done on buttons, like button conversion rates, and what that looks like, of buy it now, submit, learn more. Because I generally don't use learn more unless if I'm trying to take a user to a secondary step. I would use, buy now, order now, submit.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I mean, I think there are some articles I've passed by that does say that, or to just be more context specific. So rather than saying learn more for instead it's watch the webinar. Just really confirm the specific action that they're going to do. Download my free copy now. Even though the button's going to be really large, it's a little better.
The importance of the customer, not important to the designer.
Yeah, exactly. Submit really is developer language. Submit all of your information to the computer overlord.
Yeah, give up everything that's important.
Exactly. All right. So really quick, before we go, let me try to get out of this real quick.
Sometimes it'll make me sound like, oh, it's me, but you can record it and sound like a good soundtrack. So if you ever hear bad acoustics, so doing another band concept.
Yay! So I wanted to announce that so we're basically restarted Friends of Figma Las Vegas. So now we are an official chapter. I've set up a holiday get-together for the following week on Sunday. So if you would like to go to that, here's the link to our Friends of Figma group. Feel free to join. Also, I mean, if you can't make it, go to this link anyway to join our community. And I'll be setting up more events surrounding Figma, trying to do different workshops, other get-togethers outside of Tech Alley. And then I also learned that I can subscribe and get Figma swag. So I'll be trying to get all of that kind of stuff next year, free giveaways. So it's really exciting. So, of course, we're still going to have all of our Tech Alley meetups, but I want to do more outside of this monthly event. So, yeah, if you can make it, would be amazing. I'll also post this link in our LinkedIn group. And then again, if you need the LinkedIn QR code, sorry, I know it's all the way at the corner, but here you go. I really appreciate all of your guys' time. If you don't mind, can we do a group photo? Yay, I realized like I've never done that, or never asked us to do that before. But if we can maybe just like stack up like in front of here.